Well, our reporter Janine Lee is there in Port Elizabeth and she joins us now. A very good afternoon to you, Janine. Thank you so much for joining us. How are the firefighting efforts going thus far?
Well, all I can say is what a difference a day makes. We are here at Woodridge College. There were 13 buildings that were destroyed. Almost 70% of the property here at Woodridge, and the devastation is clear to see. I'm going to ask Kouga, who's on camera, if you can just pan, just to give you an idea what it looks like. It looks like a war zone. I said that last night, and I'm saying it again today. This flames last night was sky high. Now all you see is smouldering ashes and the remains of burnt out buildings, what remained of the school, their filing cabinets, their dead trees. It's really, really a sad sight. The Woodridge staff were here early this morning. They were looking at the damage, and of course curious onlookers from Port Elizabeth also came out to see. This is probably 30 or 40 kilometres from the city of Port Elizabeth. Many people wanting to come out and look at the damage here at Woodridge, but the police and the fire department, obviously for safety reasons, stopping people from coming in to have a look. And I know just how hard these firefighters did try and fight and stop this fire from spreading last night. I've got the fire chief with me from Nelson Mandela Bay, Andre de Ridder, and his crews have been working non-stop for the last couple of days. They're exhausted. He's exhausted. But let's just have a chat to him to put it into perspective how the school ended up burning when at one stage everything was under control and then all hell broke loose. Andre, it was under control and then suddenly things went belly up. How did that happen?
Veronica, yes. With fires you can never say anything's under control. Circumstances change within a second. Part of the problem was, of course, the ongoing wind, and it just got worse and worse, as you know from yesterday. But at the same time, water supply problems became a problem. 3 booster pumps supplying water to the city actually tripped. Electrical supply to them went out because of vegetation fires. And that affected the hydrant supply here, so we had to make use of water tankers thereafter, which is a much slower process. So the combination of water supply issues, the excessive wind, it was just a bad combination. So from 1 minute having it under control, the next minute having it just about out of control. It was to be expected under extreme conditions.
Andre, let me ask you this. There would be a building burning here and then suddenly, for no unknown, or I couldn't fathom it, but the next one would start burning. How did it happen?
Yeah, we found with a lot of the embers travelling for sometimes 100 metres or more, ending up in some of the gutters. And we actually found that inside the gutters there were a lot of fine leaves and other debris. And the embers were setting alight as debris in the gutters, which then started the roof rafters burning. And because of the many buildings in the vast area, one can't be with all buildings at all times. And this is the way it spread last night. Tremendous wind blowing embers all over the place. And once it got into the gutters and roof rafters started smouldering and burning, if you weren't at that site, within a few minutes you had a fire, and once it's into the roof, very difficult to stop.
Now, Andre, I know Thornhill, where the elderly couple lost their lives, does not fall under your jurisdiction. But from a fireman's perspective, I know your priority is to save lives and to protect buildings. Personally, when you can't, or your guys can't save lives, personally, how did the guys take it?
As a long-suffering firefighter myself, I know how one feels. You are gutted. Even if whether it's your fault or not, you are gutted. If you can't get to a person and a life is lost, that is what you become a firefighter for, to save lives. And no matter the circumstances, if it's impossible to do anyway, it doesn't matter. Just a loss of a life, you feel gutted. Even buildings, every building belongs to someone. Memories involved in here. Memories, the documents, paintings, the grief, the teachers involved. So I really felt after I've said that.
Well, unfortunately, the sound defects, they did not do much justice to that interview. That was Janine Lee speaking to us live from Port Elizabeth. Meanwhile, nearly 600 firefighters and volunteers have been deployed to areas around Knysna to contain